Welcome to 6G Technologies Part 2. Last video we have given the glimpse of 6G technologies. In this video we are going to discuss more details on it. These are the listed 6G technologies. More details will be given one by one.
Let's see network operation at terahertz band with wider spectral resources. The terahertz band ultra wide spectrum resource can provide terabits data rate for ultra fast massive data transfer on local area network or personal area network. The key potential application may be high definition video conferencing and mobile device communication in small cells. This new spectral band of terahertz communication opening many research area like transceiver design of RF circuit, LNA circuit, mixer for the new terahertz band and the post baseband processing unit are key elements required for realizing the transceiver. Another challenge realizing the transceiver for terahertz bandwidth is realizing higher output power and low phase noise and better receiver sensitivity, which is really challenging one in the terahertz band, which is required to be addressed. And the terahertz baseband signal generation itself another challenge. There are three approaches proposed in the literature, that is photonic based, electronics based and emerging material based. These three approaches are utilized for generating terahertz band signals. The antenna design is another key challenge for the terahertz communication realizations. At network level, we required newly formulated protocols at physical and MAC layer to realize this terahertz band of short-range wireless network. Let's see what is intelligent communication environment. As I said, intelligent communication environment is nothing but controlling the environment of electromagnetic wave such a way it will produce constructive multipath signal at the receiver. To realize this objective, intelligent surfaces are deployed in the environment which manipulate the propagated electromagnetic wave to make a constructive signal at the receiver end. So for this, we required a material plane called metasurface plane for the case of microwave and millimeter wave frequencies. What is metasurface? Metasurfaces are surface like antenna which consist of meta-atoms. Meta-atom is the smallest unit of element in the antenna array, which is a conductor with a size of smaller than the half wavelength of the signal for which you are trying to make active propagation of the signal. The metasurface can control the phase element of the impinging EM waves on it with a fine granularity. The basic idea under this intelligent communication environment is we are going to deploy many intelligent surface in the environment there and there which can control the propagation of electromagnetic wave by phase modulating the impinging signal on it. In the metamaterial surface, the meta-atoms are interconnected to form a metasurface by a set of miniature controllers which are located behind the metasurface. The layer which is responsible to control the meta-atoms, the entire intelligent surface is divided into various planes in order to easily control and manage the plane. The first plane will be metamaterial plane, where an array of meta-atoms are available to control the electromagnetic waveform. And the second layer will sensing and actuation plane, where the control signals are generated to control the meta-atom, and also it is used to sense the hitting electromagnetic waves on the particular meta-atom. And the next layer will be shielding plane, and which shields the below computing and communication plane from the metamaterial plane. And the computing plane is the element where the controllers are located which will activate appropriate switches to control the meta atoms. And the communication plane is the element which is also called as gateway element, which serves as the connectivity unit in the communication layer and provide inter-element and external control mechanism. Pervasive artificial intelligence. Global network level optimization is the key requirement under 6G because the heterogeneous nature of the network. This global optimization is possible by means of cross-layer optimization mechanism. But realizing such a cross-layer optimization mechanism under heterogeneous network environment is challenging one. For that, we can apply artificial intelligence. So the application of artificial intelligence algorithm bridging the gap across the layer such that a global optimization can be possible under the entire network. This artificial intelligence algorithm can be applied for every layer in the wireless network to realize the global optimization. For example, at physical layer, we can apply channel estimation, prediction purpose, and symbol detection purpose, channel decoding purpose, and resource allocation and scheduling purpose. Similarly, we can do network planning and orchestration by applying artificial intelligence. Routing and network operation can be realized with the help of artificial intelligence, and fault analysis and recovery also possible. So like that, we can apply in all layers this artificial intelligence in order to make global optimization, which is not possible simply by means of layer-wise optimization. Large-scale network automations. Network automation is required in heterogeneous networks with different type of application which demand different QoS requirements. The automated system will be able to sense the nature of application and the QoS requirement. Accordingly, it can reconfigure the resources and the parameter element in the networks. That is the key idea behind the network automations. So automation is the process of automating the configuration element or process, management process, testing process, deployment process, and operation of physical and virtual devices within the networks. So all these elements, the automation is required in order to make fully automated networks. The advantage of network automation is it will speed up the delivery of network services while adhering the dynamic and robust service level agreements which is coming with a different value from different application in the heterogeneous environment. And it avoid reducing the manual error which may be occurring by manual operated networks. The two key elements already adopted in 5G in the direction of optimizations are SDN and network function virtualization. The SDN separating the data plane and control plane, thereby it makes some control over them and automate the process. The network function virtualization decoupling the software from the hardware, which is another key enabler for automation process. The network data analytic function in the control plane and the management data analytic service in the management planes is the two data analytic framework which enable systematically collect massive amount of network related parameter data and enable to automate the process. For example, you can see under network automation approach, we have fully programmable network and we are collecting large scale of network data from them. Then the network analytical engine is analyzing those data and making some insight and inference. Of course, this network analyzer engine is also taking the intent and policies which is given by the network operator time to time. And with the help of this policy and the collected data, the network analytical engine will provide an insight and inference of what is happening in the network, what has to be done to optimize the resources. Taking those inputs, the network decision engine will make a decision to initiate some action in order to meet the service level agreement of the application to realize the target UAS. So this is the idea behind the framework of network automations. For realizing this large-scale network automation, we required software-defined programmable data planes, automated service decomposition and orchestration, and self-driving networks. All-spectrum reconfigurable front-end. Since the 6G is a heterogeneous network, which is going to be operated from RF, millimeter and terahertz band, we required design of reconfigurable RF front ends to handle this different band of communications. So design and implementation and optimization of frequency agile ultra broadband reconfigurable RF front end is the another requirement for 6G communication. Under the reconfigurable front end design, the system should be able to simultaneously sense and communicate over full EM spectrum from 1 GHz to 10 THz. It should have intelligent all-spectrum sensing solution, and the transceiver hardware design and implementation is another requirement for this wide range of spectral band. Realizing spectral and energy efficiency optimization is another key element required under reconfigurable front-end design. You can see the typical RF front-end for the 6G communication in the figure, which consists of advanced CMOS and antenna technology, which can be operated at 3 to 300 GHz, and we have terahertz optoelectronics element to handle the frequency greater than 2 THz, and we have graphene based terahertz plasmonic elements to handle some source of spectrum from 0.3 to 2 THz, and those elements are integrated element act as a RF front end, which is going to be controlled and communicated through use of control and communication substrate. This control and communication substrate is the extra element that is going to be introduced in order to control the RF front end of various frequency bands and to make communications. Ambient backscatter communication. The idea behind ambient backscatter communication is to utilize the already available RF spectrum in the environment that is radiated from small cell and access point, TV towers, base stations. So those EM power radiated by this element can be utilized to make secondary link communication. That is the idea. So under this backscattering communication, the electromagnetic power radiated from already existing infrastructure will be utilized to make secondary link communication without spending extra power for communications. This can be achieved by simply using simple circuits for modulation and reflection of them to the transceiver. There is no need of a dedicated spectrum band for this communication. The communication can be established in multiple spectral bands, and this communication element not required any complex electronic circuits like analog to digital converter, which is required in traditional transceiver design. So the idea behind it is utilizing a simple circuit of transceiver without any additional power, we can make a short range of communication between the devices. Internet of Space Thing. The Internet of Space Thing, also called as ubiquitous cyber physical system, which consists of integration of ground network, air network and space networks. When I say ground network, it consists of already existing ground IoT networks, cellular networks and any other application networks. When I say air network, it means the unmanned aerial vehicle networks, which is going to be deployed for aiding the normal communication system. When I say space, the space network consists of a small size, low cost network of satellites which act as space networks. The idea behind integrating the ground network, air network and space network is to provide global coverage. The target application of this integration will be monitoring application, in-space backhauling and holistic data integrations. So this is the three target application for which the integration we are going to do under Internet of Space Things. So as I said, this Internet of Space Thing element consists of integration of IoT networks or any other cellular or any ground networks, and the integration of cube satellite networks and unmanned aerial vehicle networks. Why IoT is required this integration? Because the IoT network relies on existing infrastructure which is fixed one, which lack flexibility as well as the scalability. In order to provide more flexibility and scalability, it should be integrated with SpaceNet and AirNet. And also, as I said earlier, it provides global coverage. Cell-free massive MIMO communication network. It is another element in the 6G network. In 5G, the massive MIMO concepts are introduced, where the base station consists of 100 and 100 of antennas. This 100 size of antenna will be used to serve the UAV user elements. In 6G, this massive MIMO approach results in very complex base station and very costlier base station. In order to avoid this, cell-free massive MIMO concept are introduced in the 6G. What is cell-free massive MIMO network? We can call it as it is a collaborative networked MIMO. Basically, it is a network MIMO where only few antennas are there at base station, less than 10 antenna, rather than having 100 antenna in the base station. And another key element is the cell-free massive MIMO communication network. The user will be served more than one base station. You can see in this diagram, you can see this device is served by two base stations. This more than one base station service to the UAE provide more spatial diversity. That means if the signal channel from one base station is poor, still it can have good communication by managing with another base station channel. So this spatial diversity is the key element under this cell-free massive MIMO communication. Another advantage of this cell-free massive MIMO is it eliminates inter-cell interference. Since the base stations are collaborating and cooperating themselves, the inter-cell interference can be avoided. One of the central element or requirement in cell-free massive MIMO is this CPU, the central processing unit, which is required to realize the collaboration and cooperation among the serving base station and to do the complex computational elements, that is channel estimation, signal decoding, etc. etc. It can be done in a centralized fashion to avoid the complexity in the network. The potential research opening under this cell-free massive MIMO communication is channel estimation, which is really challenging one because every user device is served by more than one base station. So estimating the channels from more than one base station using different antenna element is more complicated than earlier network. And another challenge is significantly it increases the synthesized aperture size. The range of near field propagation grows very large. Then it's required a different channel model to characterize the large and small scale channel parameters. Thank you. I hope the video is useful and given an insight the technologies which is required to realize the 6G networks